solving equations by multiplying by the least common denominator. So example 1, solve for the following. So we see we have x plus 5 over 2 plus 4 plus 6x over 6. So we see that we have x plus 5 over 2 plus 4 plus 6x plus 6 over 4 equals 0. So in order for us to solve this, we are going to multiply each term by our least common denominator. So our least common denominator between our two fractions will be 4. Because if we do multiples of this 2, it's 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8. And then for 4, it's 4, 8. So our least common denominator is 4. So what we'll do is we will multiply each term by 4 in this whole equation. Then what we do is then reduce. So we have 4 and we have 2 here. So this can become a 1. And then as we go 2 divided by 2, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then we have 4 and 4 here. So this just can be completely divided out, and this each becomes 1. So now, anything that's over 1 can just be thought of as what's on the top. But now when we have this 2, we need to go and remember that we are multiplying it by this whole term here, x plus 5. So let's go ahead and now multiply out. So we have 2, and then we have x plus 5 in parentheses, which is just over 1, so we'll just leave as this. Then we have plus 4 times 4 is 16, plus, now we just have 1 here, so 1, and then 6x plus 6, and then anything times 0 is just equal to 0. Now, let's go ahead and multiply. So 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 5 is 10, then we have plus 16, then we have 1 times 6x, so that's 6x, 1 times 6 is 6. Now our goal is to get the variable by itself. So let's keep x's on the left-hand side, and we're going to eventually move the numbers to the right hand. So we have 2x and 6x that can be added together. Then we have these numbers that can be added together. So let's first do that. We'll simplify. So we have 2x plus 6x, so that's 8x. Then 10 plus 16 is 26, plus 6 is 22, which is equal to 0. Now we need to get x by itself, so we're going to go ahead and subtract 22 on both sides. So then we have on the left-hand side, we're left with just 8x, as that is gone, and then we have is equal to negative 22. Then we need to go ahead and divide by 8 to get x by itself. So x is becoming negative 22 over 8, which can be reduced into, as the top and bottom can both be divided by 2, so it's negative 11 over 4. And that would be our final solution. Now let's do another example. Example 2, solve for the following. So now we have 1/2 times 2a minus 3 plus 1/4 times 2a plus 2, which is equal to 1/12 in parentheses 3a plus 24. So we are going to be solving for this by multiplying each of these by our common denominator. So our least common denominator. So for this one, it's going to be 12. Because if we were to do the multiples of 2, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 4 is 4, 8, 12, and 12 is just 12. So our first one that we all have in common is 12. So if we multiply each term by 12, so we'll go ahead and we'll go 12, then we have 1/2 times 2a minus 3 plus 12 times 1/4 2a plus 2, which is equal to 12 multiplied by 1/12, 3a plus 24. So what we can do now is reduce. So we have a 2 here and a 12 here. We can divide a whole 2 from top and bottom. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Then we take this 12 and this 4. We can divide a whole 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And now we can go ahead and look at these 12s, 12 and 12. So they cross out and they just become 1. Now let's go ahead and multiply, or let's rewrite this first and then we'll multiply out. So we have 6 times 1, so that's 6 times 2a minus 3 plus 3 times 1, so it's just 3, 2a plus 2, which is equal to 1 times 3a plus 24. Now we can go ahead and multiply out these numbers. So we get 6 times 2a, so that's 12a. 6 times 3, 18, but we have a minus, so it's minus 18. Then we have 3 times 2a, so that's plus 6a. 3 times 2 is 6, which is then equal to 1 times 3a, so that's 3a. 1 times 24 is 24. Now we need to simplify on the left-hand side. So we can add those together, and we can add these together. So now we're left with 12 plus 6a, so that's 18a, minus 18 plus 6, so that's minus 12, and that is equal to 3a plus 24. Now we need to get a's by itself, and then the numbers on one side all by itself. So what we can do is go minus 3a. We get rid of it on the right hand side, and then let's just go ahead and add 12 to both sides. Get rid of it on the left hand side. So now we have 18a minus 3a, so it's 15a. 24 plus 12 is 36. To get a by itself, we go ahead and divide by 15 on both sides. So we get a is equal to 36 over 15, but we need to reduce. So we can divide by 3 on top and bottom. So 36 divided by 3 is then 12. So we need to reduce. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So a is equal to 12 over 5.